Welcome to the Best of the Best. I'm your host, Nicole, and we have an exciting show today featuring the best of the best in food, fashion, and lifestyle. On today's show, we'll be visited by Chef Eli Kulp, a Fork restaurant in Philadelphia, as he makes raw surf clam and scallops with fermented parsley.
The thing about fermentation is that it's nothing new. They've been doing it for thousands of years. And it is a technique that has been developed because there's no refrigeration. So it's a way to preserve things for a long period of time before refrigeration existed.
All this and more on the Best of the Best. Today we're in the kitchen with Chef Eli Kulp, executive chef of Fork Restaurant here in Old City, Philadelphia. Chef, it's great to have you today.
Thanks a lot.
What's on the menu?
We're going to do two items today. One of them is the Atlantic surf clam.
Okay.
We've pickled some apples and we have some horseradish. Then we're going to do also a Nantucket Bay scallop, which will be made with some fermented parsley, some beet pickled turnips, and a little bit of chives.
Sounds really interesting. So let's get started.
All right. So first of all, I'm going to kind of do a demonstration on fermentation. Fermentation is something I do a lot at the restaurant,
Really
whether it's
neat.
butter, cheese, creme fraiche, vegetables. So we do a lot of that. And what I'm going to do is Italian parsley, but do it in sort of a kimchi fashion.
Really unique.
Yeah. So it goes really well with the sweetness of the scallop. And because it's very acidic and very spicy. So I'm going to show you a quick demo. Folks can do it at home. This is very much the same way that we do it at the restaurant, and it's pretty quick process to actually make it, but it does take about 5 days for it to sit and ferment.
Okay.
And become sour. So I'm going to start with a few ingredients. I have some typical kimchi style ingredients. One is daikon radish. Any radish will work. Any radish. Breakfast radish, anything at the supermarket will work.
Sure.
I have just some green cabbage here. You can use Savoy, Napa, whatever you want. We have some scallions, which is very common. Then we have the Italian parsley. A few more ingredients. We have garlic, some chili flake, some anchovy, and a little bit of sriracha, which is just a little bit of basic chili. Any chili paste will work for that. Okay. So first thing, I'm just going to quickly chunk some of these vegetables up so they fit into the food processor, then we'll just mix them all together.
Great.
Okay? Great.
So tell me about the menu at Fork. Is this something that you do a lot there?
Yeah, something I got interested in when I was working in New York, and the whole fermentation thing kind of just, I don't know. It started with sauerkraut, and sauerkraut's so basic. It's really salt and cabbage and some thyme. So from there, what we did, I just started kind of exploring it, and then I just naturally kind of progressed into kind of looking in the walk-in and seeing what else I could pull out and ferment. From radicchio to parsley to anything. And the thing about fermentation is that it's nothing new. They've been doing it for thousands of years, and it is a technique that has been developed because there's no refrigeration. So it's a way to preserve things for a long period of time before refrigeration existed. So these days there's kind of this whole movement towards looking at how things used to be done and seeing how we can sort of follow that path a little bit using, obviously we have refrigeration, we don't need to do it, but the flavors that do come out are really interesting. So like I said, we do our own cultured butter and ferment the butter.
Really nice.
And it actually starts to become like kind of almost like cheese.
It really does.
Yeah, it's really cool. And it's just one of those interesting things that only some live cultures, natural bacteria in the air and some time can produce. You can't make that flavor any other way. So this is just kind of rough chop. You don't have to be specific about it or precise.
Okay.
Everything goes in.
I'm just going to put my apron on so I don't get dirty here.
Yeah. It matches your dress nicely.
It does, doesn't it? I got this dress at Nitwit.
Great. So again, just
so you're putting the cabbage in along with the parsley and the scallions.
Yeah. The cabbage is actually one of the quickest fermenting vegetables out there, and that's why they add it. I add it to a lot of different things because it really picks up and becomes that kind of sour note. So some sliced radish, Again, this is some daikon. I also have a little bit of English breakfast.
Okay, so 2 different kinds of radish?
Yeah, why not? Like I said, any radish will work. I mean, if you don't want it too spicy, you can also leave out some of the spice I'm going to put in as well.
Okay.
So. All right, so I have a little bit of chili flake, not too much.
Very traditional in kimchi.
Absolutely. Typically it's ground, red Korean chilies, which is essentially an Italian long hot chili that's been dried and used from there. I have a couple of anchovies I'm going to put in.
Now the anchovy, that's,
well,
correct me if I'm wrong, but not traditional.
It's kind of mimicking, there's certain kimchis, if you really get into kimchi, there's 1,000 different kimchis. It's kind of like asking an Italian how to make a bolognese. There's 1,000 different bolognese, you know what I mean? So kind of where you're from and all that. And a lot of times you'll see them putting oysters into kimchi.
Really?
Any sort of fish product, dried fish product, I mean dried fish is huge because also is a way of preserving. Anything like that can go into it. And it just kind of gives that umami kind of flavor.
Yeah,
that kind of like, what is that flavor type thing behind there. So a little bit of sriracha and some salt. If you could pass me, there you go, perfect. Thank you.
Now I know the restaurant's been around a long time and the look's changed a bit recently.
Yes.
Can you tell me about that?
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and process this real quick. What we did, we kind of made a little more contemporary feeling, updated the space. Ellen, the owner, invested a little bit of money, kind of giving it a fresh look. It's 15 years old, so you figure 1996 when it opened, styles.
A little different.
No, she really saw that. She brought me on. We made a great team. And
great.
So far, so good. So, anyways, I'm just gonna put this in here. You can kind of see how everything's kind of wet, and the salt really brought out the water because what it does, it breaks down the cell structure. So all we're gonna do is put this here, kind of layer it in there, press it down with something that fits inside. Now you can kind of see how all the liquid comes to the side here, and now it's covered. So what that does, it creates a seal, it's anaerobic, that allows it to ferment anaerobically, so without oxygen.
Okay.
We just simply cover it up and put it in a nice, cool, dark space for about 5 days.
For about 5 days. Now, not in the refrigerator, just
nope.
somewhere that's
you want it like a pantry. You keep potatoes running. Like that. Okay.
Stay tuned for more with Chef Eli Kulp. We're back with Chef Eli Kulp.
All right, so what we're going to do with that now is I'm going to grab my scallops.
We're using bay scallops today,
Bay scallops, right? Nantucket Bay out of Massachusetts. So they're really sweet. They're in season right now. They're only in season typically about 3 months out of the year, kind of depending on how the harvest goes. It can always change. Sometimes it's only for a month. So here's some that has been fermented. You can kind of see it and you kind of smell it. It smells like
you can really smell it for sure.
No doubt. So the cool thing about parsley, it actually takes a flavor. For me, I mean, I think everybody tastes a little bit different, but for me, it actually gets a flavor of dill pickle, which is bizarre. I know it doesn't make sense.
It smells a little like that.
Yeah. So that's what I always liked about the parsley, and it kind of has a familiar flavor to it. So we try to stay very American, very regional. So I focus a lot on sort of, the Mid-Atlantic region. Obviously Lancaster County is important because we're here in Pennsylvania. So the best product in the world comes out of Lancaster. We have the ocean just less than 45 minutes away. So obviously we have great seafood. And I try to focus on a lot of local kind of regional sort of flavors that we're able to find. And I'll go into history a little bit and sort of find different things. But we also have a real kind of, my background in food is very Italian. Okay. So I try to blend kind of our contemporary American feel with Italian food. Nice. And when I say contemporary, I don't want to think it's fussy on the plate because you're kind of seeing it here.
It's beautiful though.
But I try to balance it all. So it's kind of a rustic approach and really simple and straightforward.
Do you offer a tasting menu?
I do, yeah, absolutely.
Great.
Any night of the week you can come in and we have that option to have as well. So.
Now, is this like a radish you've pickled with beet juice or something?
Exactly. So this is a white radish.
It's gorgeous.
And seed in there, excuse me.
And this is on the menu?
This is on the menu, yep.
You change the menu seasonally or more often?
Yeah, seasonally. It evolves, I'll put it that way.
Yeah.
Okay, so.
Beautiful. I'm going to bring this over to the table and let's start our next dish.
Great. So I'll get moving here. So this is this Atlantic surf clam. This clam is not very well known. It's got a really big foot on it, meaning it digs. The digger is really large, and it's actually used a lot in Japanese food, sushi, giant clam, and you can see all the liquid that comes out of it.
Oh, wow.
That's just pure
Flavor,
seawater, filtered seawater. So we keep that. And you can see this thing's still alive. So what we do, this is the digger. You can see how the proportion is so much bigger than most clams. So what that is, that's the meat that you want. So if you look at it, it actually is.
Oh yeah.
You know,
that's fresh.
It's really cool. You know, it's fresh. So I'm gonna hold that to the side. I'm just gonna quickly slice this, okay? You can see it's not gonna be very happy about it, but let's be honest, it's just nerves.
It happens.
It's not thinking about it. It doesn't feel it.
It doesn't have emotions.
Nope.
Nice and thin.
And the thing about this thing, again, it's so sweet, and you'll taste that when you eat it. And it really is cool. So we'll take that, okay? You can see how
Curls up.
it does. It will relax too, but in the very fresh state,
Oh, that's crazy.
you know, it's just very firm. So let's take that. What we have here is some pickled apples, okay?
Wow.
We pickled in apple cider and lime juice.
Huh.
And the idea with this was kind of radishes, I was thinking cocktail sauce and clams. And cocktail sauce is horseradish. Horseradish goes great with apples. And it just kind of went from there, and it ended up working out, so.
Very neat.
So, some fresh chive. Would you mind, do you have any little more salt I could steal from you?
Sure.
Sorry.
There's some salt.
Great, thanks so much. All right, so always need salt, even with this clam, because this clam, while it is relatively salty, because it's in the ocean, obviously, it still is so sweet that you still need a little bit of salt to bring it out, okay? All right, so I'm gonna take a little bit of this liquid here.
Okay.
I'm just gonna be careful not to, let me just move this here, to take it off the bottom, because there might be a little sand in there,
Yeah,
a little
we don't
grit.
want that.
So basically just decanting it, okay?
This is very innovative.
Yeah, I mean, I just try to, I don't know if it's innovative, but.
I think it is. Where do you draw most of your
It's very
inspiration from?
delicious. Like I said, I just try to find things that are local and do best what I can with what those are. So, you know, we do import some things, but we try to use American ingredients.
Sure.
Olive oils,
Great.
wines for cooking, stuff like that. Because there's so much America does offer that if you really start looking, you'll find them.
Absolutely right.
All right. So, anyways, just mix that up a little bit. Just a little bit of salt here. Doesn't need too much. All right, so I have some ice here, so I crush just for presentation. Obviously, at home you can use whatever, or you don't have to use any ice at all.
When you eat it fast enough, you don't need any ice.
Exactly. So this is how we do it at the restaurant. So the shell makes a great scoop. So all right, so just like that. And it works out pretty well for presentation as well.
Sure does. Beautiful.
All right, and just a little bit of olive oil to finish. And I'll finish with a little bit of horseradish. It's here, excuse my
Oh wow, you
reach.
have the fresh horseradish. I was wondering what that was.
Yeah, so this is just a little fresh horseradish. Goes great with clams. That's
Oh,
it.
and I can smell that already.
That's it.
Looks great. Let's bring it over to the table. I can't wait to taste this stuff.
All right.
Thanks. This all looks so unique and innovative, and I'm dying to try it. So let's start.
Yeah, let's dig in.
All right, I'm just gonna go right for it.
Go for it. You go for the scallop. I'll do the clam. I eat this every day, but I'll do it.
Wow. A radish.
Wow, this is great. It's amazing how, I mean, I did so little to this, and it's so, you know, it's really about when you get great products like this, you don't have to do too much, you know.
You really don't. The scallops are fantastic, and that fermented parsley, I don't even know what to call it, but it's so unique.
Yeah, it's good.
But thank you, and
course.
good luck at the restaurant. It was
Cheers.
great to have you here.
Thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
We'll be right back with more from the best of the best.